Gott will, wirst du wieder geweckt. Morgen früh, wenn Gott will, wirst du wieder geweckt. Guten Abend, gute Nacht, von Englein bewacht, die zeigen im Traum der Christkindleins Baum. Schlaf nun selig und süß, schau im Traums Paradies. Schlaf nun selig und süß, schau im Traums
Evening all, welcome to Total Dust, and I can just guarantee that somebody is going to post in the comments, what the hell was that intro? Just play the game, we don't want to see a bloody flim-flam knobhead. So yeah, anyway, I did that and it made me smile. Well, you've got to do stuff that makes you smile, surely. Even if it is kind of, you know, murder, torture and beating and cannibalism, you have to just do it. Otherwise, what's the point of being a human being and being alive? Anyway, welcome to Dust, and today we're fighting on a bridge. Sorry, I kind of hyped that up a bit more than maybe I should have. We're fighting on a bridge. Let's talk about what's going on at the moment. I now use controller. That's right, you heard correctly. I now use controller. And it's a very scary time because, well, the reason I'm using controller is I've actually moved around. So my PlayStation that I used to record is now in the living room. So long story short, it's basically moved. So to use mouse and keyboard would mean I have to balance the keyboard on my lap and then use a cushion with the mouse, and then it just felt wrong. What's the point playing a console game if you're not going to use a controller? So I started using a controller and my god, it's good. But anyway, we'll talk about that in the next video. Check the next video because that was I think a really good rip-storming example of why controller is way better. And I do mean way better than mouse and keyboard for this game. Only certain guns, obviously, but if you're using generally things like I'm using here, so combat rifle, you're going to have a good time, I should ever say, or rather wouldn't say. So I honestly think Dust is far superior with the controller. It's a bit tricky at first, but once you get it, it's quite fun. So, what's generally going on in Dust? Well, to be honest, couldn't tell you. It's FanFest soon. I know obviously that's starting to come around. I can't imagine too many Dust players are going to go. Post in the comments, tell me if you're going. I wouldn't be surprised if a lot aren't, let's say. Only because of what happened last year. I won't really go into it. Obviously, some people were quite happy for the news, some people weren't. I think the fact that it obviously came about was the reason why I think there's maybe not, well, there's not any focus on Dust in this FanFest. As far as I'm aware, I could well be wrong. I think they're doing round tables and things like that, but when there's not really going to be a Dust population there, it's kind of like, well, why bother doing round tables then? I could be wrong. I mean, I could be entirely wrong, but I can't imagine what EVE players are going to talk about this game with. Oh, you should have better orbitals and thing. I mean, that's it. That's what they're going to talk about. What, the ability to shoot people and get kill mails on a planet is probably the limit of their extent. Who knows? I'm not too worried though. I think FanFest will be interesting just because of the obvious look at EVE, the look at Valkyrie. I do wonder if they are going to talk about Dust at all, even in the general CCP keynotes speech. I don't know. Couldn't tell you, bro. You know more than I, probably. My ability to follow what's going on in Dust is pretty limited at the moment because, I don't know, I don't have the appetite to kind of read the forums, etc., you know, obsessively at the moment, so, you know, you could probably tell me, but either way, I mean, the game's still very good. I mean, we played it a huge amount last night and we had a blast. It was fun. It was kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? It was a mixed bag, is probably the nice way to say it. Only because it just seemed that awfully a lot of the time, which is terrible English, anyway, awfully a lot of the time, sometimes maybe always, we have this kind of matchmaking nightmare where it just puts 2 full squads against 1 full squad of us and a load of randoms. Now, it could be that we are the masters of the universe. This is known, but I suspect that also puts us in the firing line. I also, and this isn't me blowing my own trumpet because God knows I've tried, every man has tried, don't deny it, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, then you're obviously a very moral, good person. Anyway, not blowing my own trumpet, but when people see my name, sometimes it gets a bit killy. And I see a lot of officer used against me. I assume that everybody uses officer guns all the time in every match, always. Apparently not. Apparently that isn't the case. And this is why, I kind of find myself getting completely curb stomped often, because I just find I generally get, into that kind of problem. Anyway, as it stands, I would say Dust is very good fun. I think the matchmaking isn't terrible. It does seem to work sometimes, maybe. And I think there's a lot of fun to be had. And I think certainly when you look at matches like this, really do bring a lot of fun. The controller has completely energized or re-energized my desire to play the game. Only because I think, as you can see, aim assist is pretty good. I'm terrible with the controller, but it's not bad. You have to kind of be able to roughly aim, but then the gun kind of does the rest. I'm using the wrong gun for this, but possibly, I don't know. Post in the comments if I am, but everybody tells me that I should be using things like the Breach AR, which I have a bit of an issue with because it's a bit of a git weapon. I quite like the combat rifle because it does feel like a machine gun. It doesn't feel overpowered, certainly doesn't feel overpowered, but it feels if you're good with it, then you're going to have an okay time with it. So part of me is quite enjoying actually playing with controller. The area of the game where it really doesn't work is the movement. So if I can't really run scout with the controller. You kind of can. I run shotgun scout quite easily now. But to run plasma cannon or, plasma cannon, flaylock, and that kind of speed fit is pretty difficult with controller. So just bear that in mind. I don't think it's too bad. It's fun actually, I've got to admit, and I would heartily recommend, if you've never played or if you don't generally play with controller, give it a try, see how you get on. And I think you might find actually it ain't bad. As I try and grenade somebody, there we go. I'm still trying to get used to grenades as well. I tell you what, you see core locust grenades just being spammed like crazy at the moment. They are good, but they're kind of meant to be good, right? But look at that, the hip fire on the controller isn't bad either. And I did get a flaylock kill, so that's not too bad. Look at this for an evasion. I'm basically being hunted by their team. Do I get away? Do I get away? Run away, run away, flee, flee, I tell you, flee. Now that was close. And then I get wrecked. Now that's the kind of gameplay I quite like. So this is why I'm loving the MKO. That's the Mimitar Assault prototype. It's just such a great suit. I can't see any downside to it actually. It's fast. It's got a good tank on it. It's pretty capable of evasion. It's pretty capable of just standing there and taking the fire as well. So I really like it. And the fit I'm using is a bit of a special fit that Stefan gave me, and I've got to admit it's tough as balls. It really does do a lot of damage. You need the controller, I think, for it to be effective, because you need to run a combat rifle or similar with it, and I think by doing so you generally have just a better platform to kind of shoot stuff from. One of the things I'm tempted to look at again as well is the scrambler rifle, because I always remember the scrambler rifle with controller, which was the last time I used controller, was to use the scrambler rifle. The aim assist on it was redonkulously good, and it just worked. It was fun, and it was kind of mental, really. So I think if I can replicate that, I'd be very, very happy as well. But I haven't got the points. I don't want to respec. I don't see the point of respecing again, to be honest. And we'll see. And one of the other things that I'm really loving, and you must make sure you watch the next 2 videos, is shotgun scouting. It's not dead. You don't get the high rate of kills with it anymore. In fact, I don't even run a cloak generally. I run the Apex, the Apex Serpent. So it even has a cloak, but I don't bother with it. I just run around because it's a free Apex suit. And you basically got a Federation shotgun with it, which is a basic shotgun. But that thing wrecks face when you get a good shot on it. I've got to admit, shotgunning with the controller is ridiculously overpowered. It's almost as if the controller just sort of turns around to you and says, hang on, bro, I got this one, just leave it with me. And then your fingers are being pulled around, kind of, the controller's out of control in your hand as you wriggle about. And all of a sudden, you've killed 20 people with a shotgun, and you're thinking, how the hell did I do that? And the controller turns around and says, you didn't, bro, I did. And I like that. I mean, it's kind of funny in a way, because, it's ridiculous when you look at it. I mean, the controller... the aim assist is pretty good in this game. It's more so than I ever realised. I didn't quite realise actually how good it was. He says as he misses 100 shots from a distance, but up close with hip fire, you're going to do quite a good job killing dudes. I've got to admit, I am pretty impressed with how good it is. I really am surprised. I think it comes down to the gun use as well. So I'm probably using a pretty of a bad gun, but that kill just there. It's unlikely that was my ability to aim. It was the game kind of sort of helping me out a bit. Which again, it's a game, you're supposed to have fun with it. It's like Destiny. Destiny's aim assist is just too much though. It's almost ridiculously over the top. But do you mind? Probably not. Do you have fun with it? Definitely. So what's there's nothing really to worry about. I think these are the conundra that confuse and baffle us from day to day. And I would say Dust is a much more fun game when you play it as a casual sofa-based game. And I've got to admit, I've played about sort of 20 games now with the controller. I'm getting used to it. I can't really use it from plasma cannon or anything like that. I probably could if I tried, but I don't really want to. I think I want to experience the more kind of rate of fire, aim-assisted guns, because they are kind of fun. I just don't use them as well, which is a bit annoying. So I'm definitely up for it. And I think really it should just come down to what do you have fun with? And I think it's the controller. So there we go. Hope you enjoyed that. See you next time.